can be taken but not given. It is the process of taking which is empowerment in itself. This is Matt Pearce. Welcome back, everyone. Now, we want to have a good discussion about the scandal that has happened in the past week to do with commercial radio. And I better just briefly explain for overseas listeners what's happened, actually. Basically, the commercial radio, if I'm right in saying, is the most popular radio in Hong Kong, isn't it? Full stop. And the DAB, which is one of the big pro-government political group, has paid 500,000 Hong Kong dollars in order to get to buy airtime, basically, for some of their second-tier members, in order to basically promote the DAB and what the DAB is doing. They basically, I think they've got 18 slots or 18 weeks of airtime, and it's from 2 a.m., isn't it, until 6 a.m. in the morning.
Have you slept yet?
Is it what?
Have you slept yet? No, around those time, are you in bed?
I have. I've been going to bed very early these days.
Okay. So you won't be the target audience.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Maybe if it was in English, I would know. But I'm sure that a lot of night workers are very unhappy, because normally they play music, I think, on commercial radio throughout the whole night. And now these poor old night workers are going to have to listen to the political drivel by the DAB. But it's stirred up a lot of controversy, isn't it, in Hong Kong, and it's been in the news because of this. People are feeling very uncomfortable about the DAB being able to effectively buy airtime to promote their political agenda and what they're doing, which traditionally doesn't happen in Hong Kong quite like that. I know in the UK, in other countries, I know there are sort of rules and regulations about political groups, exactly how much they can do. But I do know that for in the UK, for example, that some the political parties, they can have a certain amount of time for like a political advert, a proper advert on TV and I'm presuming on radio. But traditionally in Hong Kong, it's not been. People have been very uncomfortable about the idea of a political group being able to buy that so explicitly. I know, knowing how America works, I expect that political groups can do that, but I'm sure that there are stringent regulations as well. Do you know much about that, Simon? What happens in Canada or
during election times? Yeah. Radio stations like the one I used to work at also can play election ads. There are 5 parties, and I mean you can broadcast them. But the difference is that in Toronto or in Canada, in North America or in UK, there are numerous radio stations on the AM band and FM band. Like thousands of radio stations. I mean, in Hong Kong, my gosh, we only talk about 3 radio stations. Commercial radio, you have the RTHK, Metro, and commercial. So the airtime specifically scarce. So I think we should make the context a bit different, though. Yeah.
How would you view this scandal, Kenneth? And because the way your perspective on things?
Well, I think it's quite clear that in Hong Kong, this society is basically built up with the idea of capitalism, and it happens in the media corporations as well. So as you can see, there's no debate program for the election, but you are allowing political groups to buy airtime to host a regular show every Friday, and basically it's all about money, isn't it? So it all comes back to money. If you are rich, and powerful political group or any kind of group, you can buy airtime anytime. And if the government doesn't want you to be shown on the television or radio show, you will never appear in front of any citizen in the city.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I've also read that other wanker, James Tien from the Liberal Party, who I've got no qualms and no hesitation of calling a bit of a wanker. He's also come out saying, basically, this is great. The Liberal Party are going to do this as well. We're going to buy, and he said openly, hey, Liberal Party, we've got
money.
We've got money. We've got the pro-business supporting it behind us. We think it's great. It should be allowed. We're going to look into it, basically. And but there is a real danger, I think, of the political situation in Hong Kong, of that happening, where the rich parties and the Liberal Party and the DAB, and let's not forget the DAB have got some serious financial backing, haven't they? To be able to hand over 500,000 Hong Kong dollars for this, to buy this airtime, that's serious money, isn't it? That gives an indication of just how much cash they've got, actually. And it's not just coming from ordinary people. It's coming from government-friendly business people, isn't it? And let's be honest, the DAB is has got just as many connections with big business as the Liberal Party, it's a real concern, I would say. And in terms of what the real danger is perhaps what will it lead to later. Okay, at the moment it's radio show from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., which is a bit of a dead time, which most people, there's not going to be that many listeners, but the potential is, if it becomes commonplace at that time, later they're going to be buying into to mainstream times, and then it'll end up in a sort of a George Orwell 1984 kind of time, where basically the whole time on the radio will be there'll be government propaganda, basically, and there'll be no limit to it. That's the real danger. I view it. I mean, do you think I'm going too far with that, Simon?
I mean, at the point, as I mentioned earlier, the whole issue is problematic because of the scarcity of airwaves and of operating radio stations in Hong Kong. But not only that, I mean, to make things even more complicated this time, what is one of the points of controversy is that this is not only about political advertising. I mean, the commercial radio didn't admit that the 4 hour of program is political advertising. They're saying that it is a radio show focusing on youth problem, the night youth problem. So they are getting people to go out to talk to the night youths, and it is not strict political advertising. It's just that